Good morning, Tucson, Arizona, and Pima County. This is Tom Cortese, the co-host of the Fresh Start Show, and welcome to the Fresh Start Show. Dr. DeMonte Holt will not be with us today. He's traveling back to Baltimore to introduce some more resilient kids trauma programs in the school districts. And man, he's doing some wonderful work throughout the country and right here in Tucson, Arizona, and also in Phoenix, Arizona, as we know. Covering that, the event in Phoenix was incredible. November 2nd, we went up to Phoenix and we had the first Fresh Start Expo up there. And man, just we were surprised. We were overwhelmingly overjoyed because we weren't sure how much legal access we were going to have and how many opportunities people would have that were coming to have legal issues taken care of. But we got a judge from Justice out there, and he said he saw 36 or 38 people that he was able to work with. There were actual other organizations that were offering opportunities for people to sign up, to follow through, to start the applications for restoration, for expungement, for fine reductions, restructuring, that type of thing. The RAZA, R-A-Z-A, absolutely incredible. They have this app that you do the QR code and you fill in all the information, and the app actually comes back with all of your Arizona cases, and it tells you exactly what you're eligible for or not eligible for in each one of those cases. So if it's expungement, if it's seal your record, any of those things, man, it's right there. I did it on mine, and there were a couple things on there that I didn't know were on there, and it's like, wow. And it said you can seal your record, you could expunge, you could restore, all of those things. So super cool. It had to be 75 plus resource tables up there. Completely different vibe than the Tucson, because I mean a lot of it has to do with the fact that we didn't have the legal, so the noise from, there was a DJ inside, there was a DJ outside, there was a jumping castle, there was a climbing wall, they had music, they had food trucks, there was Caribbean food, oh man, they had pork jerk, fries. It was really good food. The entertainment, they had a comedian, they had two DJs inside and outside. All the resource tables, they had somebody that was giving away food boxes to families that needed those. Man, it was just, it was a really cool first event for Fresh Start. Matthew and his team did an absolutely incredible job up there. And man, they were so organized. All of their tables were labeled with the organizations that would be at those tables. And with growing pains, you learn to do better, and you learn to do more, and you learn to be more efficient and streamlined in the future. And I think we learned a lot of things from that event. And they're going to get better in the future. And man, we had a lot of people that got on board that day and said, you know what, this Fresh Start thing is something that we should be doing all over the place. And we had a Superior Court judge come out there to witness what was going on. And she said, you know what, Superior Court's going to be here next year. So, Phoenix is going to grow as Tucson grew. And as it looks right now, we may be in Chicago at 2025, and it may be Atlanta 2026. I'm not sure what the order is, but it sure looks like Chicago really is looking forward to and organizing already to do an event, a Fresh Start event there, where people will be able to get their rights restored, get their records expunged, get help with whatever it is, the warrant, fines, fees, all of those things that are holding you back from flourishing in your future. Man, if we could do this all over the country in every big city, we can get people back on board with their voting rights first and foremost. We just had the election. We still got some of those election results that are up in the air. The races are too close to call. I believe the sheriff's race is one of those. The last numbers that I got was like there were 10,000 votes that were separating them, and there was like 76% of the vote counted. I think that was at 5 or 6 o'clock last night. I'm not so positive, but amen. Hey, and now let me give you a shout out. 10,000 South Wilmot Bureau of Prisons, ADOC out there, Santa Rita, you fellows out there, the ADCRR, all of you guys that are in there and you're working on getting out here and you're working to be ready to get out here. God bless you guys, man, and all the respect in the world for you, and keep it up, man, because I'll tell you, it was a really, really cool experience for me to vote the other day, and I did a couple more new videos, and it was exciting to me. Dr. Holt came and joined me for the special occasion, and I was just pleased, and I felt as though when I was done with the vote that it was like when I was 18 and everything was in front of me, and there were opportunities that now were afforded to me that otherwise would not have been afforded had I not gone to Fresh Start, had I not taken, I mean, the courage, the just leaving behind the shame, the embarrassment, anything that may hold you back from saying, hey, I need help. Let that go, come forward, do it. I did it. I sat down with an absolute wonderful young lady who was a public defender, and shout out to them because, man, there are so many people that have been blessed so extensively by this program, and it's because that these young men and these young women, public defenders, come out on a Saturday, and they change our lives, and no matter what anybody says or what anybody thinks about that, they actually change the trajectory of our lives when they spend that afternoon, that morning in October, or one of the clinics every quarter, and they spend that time sitting down with one of us, and we go forward and we get to see a judge, and we sit with a county attorney and a judge, and we ask for things that we know we basically have no right asking for, because we receive sentences for crimes that were committed, which took a toll on somebody or something. There was damage to people or property that needed to be paid for. The restitution is one of those things that we always encourage people to pay it. That's one of the things that cannot be taken away. That is one of the only ways in our system, the way it is set up, for the victim to be reimbursed for any criminal damage that was done to them. So we encourage the payment of restitution and all of those things. And when you do that, the judges are more apt to help you with your fines and your fees and setting up a payment plan, or eliminating them altogether. Like I know I've said it in the past, I don't know how accurate it is. My wife yells at me all the time to be accurate, but I know it's been over $1 million that has been just wiped off the board in fines since Fresh Start started 4 years ago. And that's pretty incredible, because when you get up in the morning and you know you don't have a warrant, and you know you don't have those fines sitting over you, which is another bill set up, and you've already got the bill for your home, for your insurance, for your cars, for your children, for your wife, for all of those things that everyday life calls for, and then you've got this extra burden, and you don't know how you're going to do it. Like the young man that brought his money to the judge and said, this is everything I got, over $2,000. It won't pay all my fines. And the judge told him, pick it up and go home, feed your family, and take care of them. You know, and he eliminated the fines, and that's what Fresh Start does. But here's the really cool thing that Fresh Start does, and I want to make this really clear. If I had to go through metal detectors into the Superior Court building in order to apply, or go through metal detectors, period, anywhere, okay, in order to get legal help to do this, I probably wouldn't have done it. Because Dr. Holt and Fresh Start created a safe place where we could go, and I'll tell you what, one of the most prevalent, prominent things that we experience at the TCC when the Fresh Start Expo is on is that most of the people walking through the door look like us and are like us and need the help like we need the help. And what's cool about that is that when we start to understand that we're not all so different, we may be a different color, we may be a different race, we may be from a different culture or something like that, but you know what, we're not all that different. Because we've all gone through a lot of the same things, no matter where we came from, because they got us to the same place. And now we're looking to get to someplace else. And how do we get there? Man, I'll tell you what, I play with this new AI thing all the time, and it's just a wonderful tool for pulling information and being able to access those things that are really, I mean, it searches like all information on a subject. And what I got that I wanted to present today was an 8-point AI checklist for you guys in prison, what you should be doing now prior to release. And transition back in society after incarceration can be challenging, so setting clear, meaningful objectives is crucial. Here are some of the most important goals to focus on after release. I don't necessarily agree with the order of these, but I agree with all 8 of them. That's for sure. Number 1 is securing stable housing, and you guys know as well as I do that securing stable housing, you know, you're either going to go to a family member. Remember, you can't house with a co-defendant or a victim. Excuse me. But stable housing is important. Halfway houses, sober living homes, all of those. Same issue that it has always been. You got to find the good ones. You got to find the ones that are integral. You got to find the ones that everything you're paying into it, they're pouring back into you also. And there, trust me, there's a bunch of those. I mean, Oxford, Jeremiah, reach for it. I mean, there's a new one, Life Recovery Homes, that has a really wonderful program. They got 6 open beds right now, and if there's anybody interested, man, please contact me, because talk about stable housing. That is stable housing. It's nice housing. It's quality housing. It's quality area. And you know, same thing with Jeremiah, quality area. I think every guy in the house works. It's super. They have openings also. Reach for it. They have a few different houses. Oxford has like 22 different houses. So stable housing, super important. Finding a safe and stable place to live is foundational. Without it, other goals like employment and community engagement become difficult to achieve. Now, finding employment and financial stability. We walk out of there thinking we got to make up for lost time, and thinking that, man, I got to catch up, I got to get ahead, I got to get first, last, and security deposit, you know, I got to get a car. Don't be thinking that way. Think about, I got to take one step at a time. And employment provides income and stability and reduces likelihood of reoffending. Seeking programs that help with job placement or training can be helpful, in connecting with organizations that support hiring formerly incarcerated individuals can open doors. You guys can actually be writing letters now to organizations that you would like to work for. You can offer them, and I'm sure that you can get the information with your tablets or with your CO3, CO4s about those organizations that hire ex-felons. You can also get the information about the federal opportunities that are offered to employers of ex-felons. There's a $5,000 bond. There's an insurance policy that gets renewed every 6 months. So, I mean, if you guys are writing letters, if you have a dream to become something, become it. Because there's nothing that will stop you from doing that anymore. Okay, yeah, it's going to be tough. There are going to be people that remember your past. There are going to be people that keep bringing up your past, you know. But when you take the steps that are necessary, you can get the seal your record. You can get the expungement. You can get the restoration of rights. And I'll tell you, the seal your record is it's not the entire thing, but it's a good start for those that have a 3 years from a non-dangerous felony absolute discharge from a non-dangerous felony can have their record sealed. So for housing and for employment, they can no longer look into it. I cannot tell you the people that I have met over the last year that over the last 3 to 4 years have gotten their fingerprint cards and access to going into state institutions, access to going into hospitals, who were convicted felons, and now they have fingerprint cards and they're working for the state, and they're working for state organizations, they're working for hospitals. I mean, that's just super cool. But that comes with contacting, Arizona at Work right there at the Release Center, Pima County Release Center. Arizona is at Work is there. Ray Romero. They set you up with, I believe it's temporary employment to permanent employment, or the educational WIOA, which is the Work Opportunity Incentive Act, $10,000 grant to an disenfranchised individual who is seeking to better his future, either with vocational training or education, which will get him employment, which will get him a sustainable wage for himself and his family. $10,000. It doesn't go into your pocket. It goes to the school or the vocational training center where you will be going to. But it's worth it to follow through and to try to get that training. I mean, how many dudes in the joint have been formally trained to do anything? I mean, not a whole bunch of them. So, but they are loyal, hard-working, and dedicated people. And if you show a belief in them, they will show loyalty to you. And that's the way I've been. That's the way that I see that my people in the joint have been. So hire people from the joint, man. I mean, you're really not taking a risk. You're actually investing not only in their future but the community's future, because you're giving a guy a hand up that probably not necessarily has ever gotten one in his life. Okay, and I will cry for me, broken heart, all of that stuff. I'm not asking anybody to cry for us. I'm not asking anybody to feel sorry for us. I'm asking you to think about the future of the community when you have people coming into the community that have been punished for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, rather than retrained or vocationally trained or educationally trained or behaviorally helped so that they can become whole and they can move past those traumas that put them in the place, that put them in the joint. So if we can get past that and we can stop looking at people's past and we can start looking at where they are right now and where they want to go to, then we can have a community that everybody's working toward the same thing. Number 3, rebuilding family and social connections. Now, you should have been doing this for your entire time in prison. You should be writing letters. You should be making phone calls. You should be making amends. You should be trying to fix the things that are fixable and be forgiven for the things that are forgivable. And it's been my experience that most everything is forgivable. And I know that I've been forgiven by the one who it takes to forgive, and it had moved me forward into a new life at a new trajectory and a new type of flourishing because of that relationship. And man, I invite you to just get those relationships back. Start new ones, man, and open yourself up to believing in yourself as a social individual that has something to offer. Because I'll tell you what, all the time you've spent in there has given you something. It's given you an education that the vast majority of the people in the world don't or will never have. And it teaches you a great many things in there that most people out here will never ever learn. So please work on reestablishing relationships with family and friends. It helps you to reintegrate. It reduces feelings of isolation, which you have to do. Engaging in healthy social networks can provide a sense of belonging and accountability. Amen. Now, accessing mental health and substance use resources. We bring a whole bunch of resources out to the orientation every Tuesday. And there are a whole bunch of resources that come out to Fresh Start, that come out to Second Chance, that came up to the Phoenix event. There are resources, I mean, in the thousands for people getting out of prison. And here's the thing, you got to show up to get the resources, and you got to show up and ask for them. And if you're not willing to do that, then the resources sit there, and you sit there without. Or you try to get it in a way that is not exactly the brightest way to go about getting it. So let's access the mental health and substance use resources that are offered through all of these different organizations. And I will tell you that you begin to start to deal with the things that put you in the place, that put you in the place, that put you in the joint. And then the addictions and all of these other things that people say is your problems start to fall away when you start to deal with the actual problem, the it. You know, the why. As Chris Prentice said from Malibu Rehab, you got to find the why. When you find the why, you're going to see that everything that everybody says is your problem isn't your problem. It's the why that was your problem because you never dealt with it. When you deal with that, then all of the other stuff starts falling away. Now, let me see, 5, I'm running out of time. Understanding and complying with parole and probation requirements. Now, every week I go to the orientation, and every week, whatever parole officer is putting on the orientation, they say, we don't want to put you back in prison. We are not looking to put you back in prison. Let me tell you something. There's over 100 dudes and women a month be violating their parole and going back to prison. Now, why are they doing that? And I tell you first and foremost why they're doing that is they don't communicate with their PO. And when the communication is absolutely essential with their PO, they run. They abscond. And because they think, well, they're going to lock me up anyway. And the system has changed, man. They're not looking to lock you up. They'll look to get you to help. There's a couple different programs down here in Tucson. I know there's some up there in Maricopa. So they'll get you the help that you need if you're struggling, or they'll get you the resources that you need that will help you get you those resources that are going to help you move forward. I mean, there's people down here that do clothes. I mean, you guys should be writing DKA now because of the programs that they offer with the resume writing and all of that stuff. Understanding complying with probation. You got to do it, man, because that keeps you free. If you're back in there, then you got to get out again and start over. Don't keep the cycle going, man. Get out and let's start dealing with stuff. Now, building skills and education. You should have been doing this the whole time that you've been in the joint. Every program that they had offered, every educational opportunity that they offered, if they had a Pell Grant opportunity for you to go to college. I went to Rio Salado. I graduated from Rio Salado. I got a AAS in addictions and substance disorders, which I'm extraordinarily proud of, and going back to school for my bachelor's. Because I really believe it's important. Vocational training, whatever they have to offer, get there. If you want to get in a vocational training program out here when you're released, start writing the letters, man, and start getting the things done that you need to have done the day you walk out of there, so the day after you walk out of there, we can get you started. Creating a positive daily routine. You should be doing that now while you're in there. Every morning, you get up, I read the Bible, I listen to some worship, I pray, and I move forward through my day in a schedule that I have set up because I take the time to do those things now, and I think about what I need to do each day in order to be successful each day. You need to set up those positive daily routines, whether it's a workout routine, whether it's self-care, whether it's just taking time to yourself, away from everybody else, which you're going to have to do because you're going to come out of here into a sensory overload situation, and you're going to have to find a way to just gear it back and sit down, calm down, and then start again. And connecting with supportive programs and community resources, and that's what we do for you at Fresh Start. We are committed to making sure that the resources that you need in order to be successful in your future are going to be available to you. And we're going to have organizations that come together in order to offer those resources to you when you get out here. whether it be education, whether it be vocational training, whether it be behavioral health. We're going to get you the help that you need in order for you to move forward. And not just you. We're looking for the person you're writing letters to, calling home to. We're looking to help them too, because we want the whole community to be whole.